everyone. Nice to see you all. So, as the introduction mentioned, my name is Jessica. I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Fluid Finance. A huge thank you to Istanbul Blockchain Week. They've done a fantastic job in putting this event together. And that was a really interesting panel. It was great to see the innovation that is taking place here at Turkey. And I wish that the rest of the world would follow when it comes to banking. One thing that we've definitely had coming up, especially after the past week with the crypto markets, the likes of FTX and Celsius, I've had a common question when people have been coming over to my booth. And the question has been, how can you mix Web3 with banking? And also, what's next for the banking industry and also the future of centralized exchanges? And it's a really good question. So we're going to jump into some of the pain points that we're seeing across the banking world at the moment. I don't need to remind you guys are in crypto as well. We all can identify some of the issues that we face when it comes to central banks are so out of date, and also traditional banks. We all travel the world 24/7. We're used to sending money cross-border to different currencies. There are slow processing times when it comes to bank transactions, and it takes a really long time to move your funds. So these are all some of the pain points that we know from the traditional banking space, which is why we've got into the world of crypto. So if I move over and ask you guys just to think for a second, when was the last time that you sat down with friends or family and you complained about your bank? You might have been complaining because there was a lack of funds, a freezing of funds, or a movement when it comes to you traveling, not being able to access different currencies. These are really common complaints that we hear all the time in the traditional banking sector, which is why when the rise of neobanks came into play, we were really impressed at the offerings we saw. Neobanks gave a great solution to a problem. Suddenly, you were able to hold multiple currencies in a single account with really reasonable FX rates. You were able to earn interest on your funds, and you were also able to send money a lot faster than the 1 to 5 day processing time of traditional banks that we were used to. So fast forward into crypto now, and let's take a look at the last week. I have to talk about it. What a crazy week that we had in crypto. Well done to all of you guys for showing up, because the markets have been really uncertain lately, and I think FTX provided a huge issue to a problem. We saw that all of a sudden centralized exchanges weren't as legitimate as we thought, and also if you're moving funds into a centralized exchange, you're essentially putting your funds and your assets into a big black box. Celsius, a centralized lending platform, actually highlighted an issue to a problem, that actually if you were moving your funds into Celsius, you were also investing into platforms like BadgerDAO and Anchor. You as a user might not have wanted to move your funds that way. One thing my colleague and campaign manager Tina says is that actually when it comes to centralized platforms, they're almost like wolves in sheep's clothing. And it's such the fact. It's been really interesting to see how these have actually impacted the crypto markets and how it will impact users in retail investments. So if we move forward now and look at this solution, how can we move forward and how can we be proactive? Now, one amazing thing at this conference is that there's a huge amount of NFT platforms, metaverse projects. You guys are all building really cool stuff. But there is a huge problem when it comes to how can you help more users get into this space? How can you help people move their funds into your platforms in the fastest possible way? And also, how can you do that without the need for a centralized exchange? People don't trust them right now. Also, they can be high expenses. And also, it can just take a lot of time. And when the markets move quickly, people don't want to have to wait 1 to 2 days for that migration of funds. So then we look at Web3 and how Web3 comes in as a solution to the problem. So Web3 means that you can move funds peer-to-peer without the need for a third party. And also it means that you as a user won't have the risk of someone taking custody of access to your funds. So why does Web3 work for banking, and how can it be a great solution? Well, let's look at central banks first of all. 2015, we saw the Greece crisis, where people woke up on Saturday morning and saw the banks were closed, and they didn't know when they would resume or open again. We feel like we've gone past this point, but 2022, we saw the same issue happen in Lebanon. And this is a recurring theme that we're happening in the industry when it comes to trusting your traditional bank. Then we look at transaction time. So 1 to 5 days is how long it can take for you to send a traditional banking process, which is ages. This takes so long. So let's look at Ethereum, which is significantly faster. Arbitrum network, 20 to 40,000 transactions per second. This is crazy when you compare it to traditional banks. So when we look at these different blockchain solutions, we can kind of start to see a solution to the problem here. Of course, there's lower fees, which for remittance market, if you're sending money overseas, can be fantastic. Also, you can send bulk amount of funds. And as a compliance element, it means that no one can stop and say, hey, why are you sending this money? We're going to freeze it in between. So you as a user automatically feel more relieved because you're trusting the process of the technology rather than a single entity. And finally, Web3 is freedom. This is the reason why we're all in blockchain, because we need this freedom element. You can't necessarily trust entities to help you with your business. Whether you're an overseas working between Europe and the US, you can't rely on a third party that also only works Monday to Friday. The industries and the digital era has moved so much faster than that, but our banks haven't. So now let's look at the future of lending, because lending with Web3 is a huge opportunity, and it's something that people in the blockchain space, we all can identify as being a huge solution to a problem. So first of all, you as a depositor, you own your funds. You have full custody over the access of money in your account, and no one can have access to them. Then it comes to ownership. Transactions are recorded on the blockchain, so you can constantly see where money is going and where funds are. And also, people cannot tamper with that or change or remove the technology. Next, when it goes to cash into a smart contract. So if you're looking to migrate and move funds over, there actually can be an escrow of reserves to make sure that both people are authorizing the transactions as they go through. So all of this code and technology has been built for us to actually not have to trust anything or anyone. The technology does that for us. We can just sit back, relax, and make sure that we're entering the correct information. There is some pain points that come with this, and for a lot of users, we're used to trusting a third party. We're used to being able to go into our local bank if there is any issues and having a customer service representative. So there still needs to be a lot of education along the way. There needs to be a lot of processes that can be improved when it comes to how can it be easier for us to help onboard new users into Web3. The technology is there, and now it's the next few steps of organizations that can really help bringing this together. So now we're going to talk about the merging of the two worlds. I want to ask you guys, how many of you this year have tried to cash out your crypto? Yeah? Not so many, because the markets aren't looking so good right now, so I don't blame you, but let's look ahead a year or two. Markets are going up, our portfolios are booming, and we're all happy as Larry. Everything's going well. How are you guys going to cash out your crypto? This is a huge pain point. It is a pain in the ass. It's not easy to get out of your crypto. I used to work for a centralized exchange, and I would move my funds to Revolut, which is a fintech platform. And I was expecting this to be a really seamless getting paid my salary and spending my salary on a fintech. Even with a proof that I worked for the organization I wasn't trading, Revolut still blocked my funds. And I was so shocked that an emerging fintech was saying, no, we're not working with crypto, even though we offer crypto custodially on our own platform. I was so shocked. So over the years, I've been accumulating crypto, but I haven't been able to cash it out. And this is something where at Fluid Finance, we have a booth around the corner. We're really providing a solution to that problem. Because think how much you would be able to operate with and without your crypto if you had it all in one application. If you didn't have to migrate between a centralized exchange, your Web3 wallet, and also your traditional bank account, if you had it all comprised into one. So I do have a little video, which I will show you now. And this will just give you a run-through of the Fluid Finance application. So we also have live demos over on our booth, but essentially we have traditional accounts, we have 32 different traditional fiat currencies. We give you the ability to move your funds on-chain in just a few clicks. So you can mint your own digital representation of our stablecoin, and if you make the confirmation, we've actually integrated with MetaMask. You can move your funds here, sign into your MetaMask, and initiate the process of minting. And as you can see, it takes just a few moments to move your funds on-chain. We've also integrated FluidSwap, which offers all the same different cryptocurrencies as Paraswap, which gives you the ability to move your money from DUSD which is our own stablecoin, into different cryptocurrencies. And this is really helping to break down this barrier of entry. Because if you guys think about your operations at the moment, if you are a NFT platform, if you are looking to integrate cryptos, one thing that you want to do to help migrate the masses, I'm talking mass adoption here, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of users, not just people that are already in crypto. We need to make it easier for people to get in. We need to make it easier for people to get out, and we need to make it easier for people to be able to navigate between these two worlds. So we've also partnered with MasterCard and Visa so we can offer physical cards so people can spend from their Fluid accounts. And we're really proud to see that we're helping the industry grow in a way that it deserves. So I would like to summarize here with some of the different offerings that we have, and also offer to give you guys a personal demo at the end over on our booth. But in summary, Fluid Finance is really here to help organizations grow in the cryptocurrency, Web3, and decentralized space. And also for organizations here in Turkey, we have fantastic offerings for the citizens. So we would love to talk to different companies that are here. So please come and find us over at the booth, and thank you guys so much.